So now it becomes blatantly clear why the Labour Party has failed to repeal or hasn't put into plan some sort of long-term decision to repeal the three mad laws of Suella Braverman: the Nationality and Borders Law, the Illegal Immigration Law, and the Rwanda Law. That is because in the end, in their heart of hearts, they thought they were right. It's madness. The only thing they could have thought was wrong was the country or Suella Braverman. This is utter madness. And there's now talk that the Labour government, led by Sir Keir Starmer and the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper, is gearing up to adopt strategies inspired by the Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's migration policy. Now, I think Giorgia Meloni's policies have some credit, but at the moment, her policies have been rejected by Albania and by Italy on some of the same grounds that the Rwanda policies were rejected and opposed by the Labour Party and by principled-minded individuals across Europe and across the world. This is all about offshoring our responsibility, getting other people to do our dirty work. We might as well be having prison ships and sending people to Australia. Maloney's administration, which has seen a 62% reduction in migrant arrivals in the first 7 months of 2024, attributed this decline to strategic agreements with Tunisia and Libya. And these deals, valued at over 100 million euros, not only supported border patrols but also aimed to enhance local economies through investments in small businesses, renewable energy and education. That much is perfectly reasonable. And that much certainly Starmer is planning to do. Starmer's visit to Rome, his subsequent praise of Italy's upstream work, underscores Labour's shift towards a preventative approach to illegal migration, which marks a significant departure from the Conservative tactic of outsourcing migrant processing to third countries, exemplified by the now aborted plan to fly migrants to Rwanda. But the Italian model hasn't been without criticism. Human rights groups have condemned deals with Libya for pushing migrants back to detention camps notorious for torture and abuse. And the implications for adopting a similar approach in the UK are complex. While reducing dangerous channel crossings remains a priority, with record numbers and fatalities this year, echoes of Maloney's policy, either to set up places to offshore the detention of migrants until the Home Office can be bothered to actually do something, or they face the same ethical and practical challenges that Maloney's policy faces, because it's leaving people who are desperate in the hands of thugs and appalling regimes. What we need is a very simple solution. We need to put our consulates on the north of Africa, on the east coast of Turkey, on the north of France, so that people no longer have to cross the Channel, no longer have to cross the Mediterranean in order to seek help if they need it, so that that application process can start at the earliest possible stage, so that people who are desperate can contact these places and say, I want to flee from my country. So people can do it online. The absurdity is this idea that it has to be done in person. And with a modern internet, this is no longer necessary. We are using 19th century policies to deal with a 21st century solution. And this is stupidity. We need to redefine the 1951 Refugee Convention. We need to upscale safe and legal routes, and we need to ensure that we lead the way in putting these sort of semi-consulates in accessible places where they can start to do the work that the Home Office has clearly failed to do. And Cooper's negotiations with Turkey, with Vietnam, and the Kurdish region of Iraq reflects a bespoke region-specific strategy aimed at curbing the operations of smuggling networks. These agreements may include financial incentives and retraining for local authorities, a revived social media deterrence campaign in Vietnam. Oh, for goodness sake! If advertising worked, these things wouldn't be happening. Advertising doesn't work. We need to be more proactive. And Labour's commitment to innovative, albeit controversial measures is reasonable, but they need to be conducted on a global scale, which means we need to be organising a global conference to deal with this, not trying to outsource or sort of do some sort of Heath Robinson type affair to patch up the problems for Britain alone. It doesn't work. We need a global solution. And when we're talking about Britain, we need to be involving Scotland. Scotland wants migrants. Scotland has always welcomed migrants. We should be taking up Scotland's suggestion. I remember Humza Yousaf standing with a placard saying migrants or refugees welcome. Yes. We have dealt with this problem wrongly since the days of Blunkett. And we need to change. Badly. And the overarching question remains, can a policy that combines external cooperation, financial incentives prove sustainable without veering into humanitarian pitfalls? While Maloney's success in numbers provides a roadmap, the reality of ethical governance and effective execution looms large for Cooper and Starmer as they navigate this politically and morally charged terrain. And if it involves outsourcing, we've seen that go wrong twice. But equally, if it involves declaring people who arrive in the UK as criminals simply because of the way that they arrive, we've seen that go wrong. We need to repeal the 3 Suella Braverman laws. We need to rethink in an international way. We need to take advice from countries that have dealt with this problem. Italy is one, Turkey, oddly, is another. And to a certain extent, Albania is a third. And then we need to lead by example.